Hey guys, Harmeet here from Photo Insomnia. Welcome to another episode of The Leap Show. This is episode number 3, a show where I take you through a complete edit of one of my pictures from start to finish. In this week's episode, I'm going to be showing you how I take a single raw file and I create a HDR look in Lightroom only. So this is not using any of bracketed shots or using any third-party software. Only using the Lightroom develop module, I create a HDR look in an image. Let's get started. This image, if we look at the metadata, is a raw file from an X-T1 using the 18-135 lens at ISO 400. So let's start the edit process, going to the develop module, and I'm going to start with the basic panel first. Here we are going to drag the highlight slider all the way to the left. Now if you notice the highlights start to become a little gray, that's not good. So pull that back a little bit until it's still whitish. It shouldn't be gray. That means you are pulling it too far. Open up the shadows here, so it starts to look a little bit better. We'll set a white point. Hold the Alt key and drag this to the right. I can see some white up there, so that's good. That's the skylight, so that's fine. It's supposed to be white. Shouldn't have any detail there anyway. Now we're going to add some blacks by holding the Alt or Option key on a Mac and move that to the left. Now we start to see a fair bit of black points or black areas in the image. Drag it along until you're satisfied and then let go. So that's good. The histogram is nicely spread across. I'm going to increase the clarity. Now this is where it'll become HDR-ish. You see, starts to open up that image really well. You can see a lot of detail. I'm going to add some vibrance, not too much. Don't want these colors kind of distracting the eyes. So I'm going to maybe pull the saturation down a little bit, -3. Now let's go and add some detail. So in the sharpening, we're going to go up to what, 70, 80. 80 is good. I'll increase the radius to 1.2 and we'll apply a little mask. So drag that across, holding the Alt key again or Option key on a Mac. Dragging it across and we'll stop around here. So all the black part, the surface or the plane areas are not getting sharpened. Only the edges and textured parts are getting sharpened. There isn't any noise in this. I mean, this camera is brilliant and it's only shot at ISO 400, so there's no noise. What I'm going to do is go to the effects panel and I'm going to dehaze it a little bit here. Okay, so let's have a look at this before and after. This is what the image looked like before. This is what it looks like now. Much better now. So now the next part is, well, to make it look even more grungy and HDR-ish, I need to add more clarity to it. But there is a limitation here that we cannot add more than 100 here, right? We cannot drag this beyond 100. There is a way, and it's using the gradient filter. So to do that, I'm going to zoom out on this image first. Go to 1:4 zoom, shrink it down. I'm going to use the gradient filter tool here, and I'm going to hold the Shift key and I'm going to drag this down here. Doesn't do anything because we haven't changed any of the sliders, but if I hover over, you can see it applies to the whole image. The overlay is showing the mask that applies to the whole image, so that's great. Now we have clarity once again, so we can push it even further. Look at that. Huge difference. Let's go back to the fit size here. Look at the before the slider and after we add another 100 value clarity on this. Now it starts to look more HDR-ish, but this is getting a bit dark, so well, we can add more improvement by opening up the shadows here. You see that, there we go, it starts to open up all that detail. Starts to become more prominent. Add a touch more contrast. Sharpness, we don't need to do it here, we've already applied it. If you want to sharpen, you can add more crunch to it, but for my taste, I think I'm happy with where it is. So check out the difference. This is without the gradient filter applied. This is with. Not only it becomes brighter, opens up the shadows, but the clarity of the image increases as well. And it starts to look more HDR like. And this is how some of my presets are designed as well. They used the gradient filter to add more and more detail into the image, pull out more detail. Now, of course, if you're shooting in JPEG, you won't be able to push the image that much. But if you are shooting RAW, you can push the image quite aggressively and get that HDR result that you want. If you want to save this as a preset to use for later, all you have to do is come up here in the preset section, hit the plus key and save it. So I will save it as HDR Frankfurt. That's what I'm going to call it. Make sure everything's ticked. Yep. Create. And now it adds the preset. So now I can apply it to any image that I want. Here's another one from the same location. This one here from outside the station. So let's see the effect of this one. Bam! There we go. But it's a bit too bright, so I'm going to pull the exposure down a little bit because it is too bright. And of course the presets are always a starting point. They never will give you the final exact result. You can apply them and then you can further tweak your image until you're happy with the final result. So look at the before and after on this. Look at that before and after. Big difference. Alright, so there you have it. This is the final image. This is what it looked like before. Here it is at the end. Alright, there you have it, the final image that we've created for today. Be sure to check out my other episodes if you haven't seen them before. Hit the like button if you like this video so I know and I'll create more of these. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel so I can create more content for you guys. The more you subscribe, the more it motivates me to create videos like these. Be sure to check out the link in the video so you can download the image and try the preset and the effect yourself. It's a raw file that in a DNG format that I'll make it available for you to download via the link in the description. So I'll see you next week in episode number 4. Take care. Bye bye.